Have you ever had a conversation where the facts kept shifting, where apologies vanished into smoke, and every attempt at honesty only led you deeper into confusion, self-doubt, and exhaustion? Maybe it was with a partner who looked you in the eye and denied the undeniable, a friend, parent, or boss who, no matter how much evidence piled up, rewrote reality with such force that you started questioning not just them, but your own sanity. What if I told you that behind this dizzying web of deception isn't just carelessness or miscommunication, but an entire psychological universe, one where lying isn't an exception or mistake, but a lifeline, a daily method of survival? Why do some people seem not just comfortable with dishonesty, but addicted to it, warping truth so completely that everyone in their orbit is forced to doubt, defend, and ultimately surrender to a story not their own? Tonight, we're pulling back the facade. No more cliches, no more blaming yourself for not proving the truth. Tonight is about seeing clearly, maybe for the first time, that with a narcissist, lies aren't a glitch in the system. They are the system. If you've ever felt trapped in a relationship, family, workplace, or story where reality keeps slipping through your fingers, stay right here. What you're about to learn will not only reveal why narcissists lie so easily, it might finally set you free from a world built on fiction and ignite the courage to reclaim your story. To truly understand why narcissists lie so easily, and why their dishonesty is so much more than an occasional character flaw or bad habit, but rather the engine driving their entire existence, you must be willing to descend into the labyrinth of their psyche, where truth and fiction blend so seamlessly that even close observers, victims, and sometimes the narcissists themselves cannot always tell the difference. Because in the hands of a narcissist, lying is not merely an escape from consequences or a tool for personal gain, but the very scaffolding that holds together their fragile sense of identity, self-worth, and even psychological survival. It starts young, sometimes in families where the truth was unsafe, where brutal criticism, indifference, neglect, or on the other hand, relentless praise for any display of specialness, force the child to abandon authentic feelings in favor of whatever fabrication would buy love, safety, or attention, creating a fractured, false self built out of stories and mirages designed to keep shame, fear, and ordinariness at bay. And as the narcissist grows, this compulsion calcifies, becoming an unconscious operating system where reality is always shifting to match their needs, insecurities, or immediate desires. And the line between truth and lie is blurred by the understanding that, in their world, facts are simply suggestions to be rearranged, denied, or rebranded if they threaten the central narrative of their importance, innocence, or victimhood. What normal people call lying, the narcissist perceives as necessary self-preservation. Every lie serves a vital function in protecting them from the annihilating experience of shame, insignificance, or exposure. Their grandiose stories, rewritten pasts, exaggerated achievements, effortless blame shifting, and everyday omissions are part of an involuntary reflex to defend their carefully engineered self-image from collapse, and every challenge to their version of reality, no matter how small or provable, triggers a profound fight or flight response, often expressed as gaslighting, insisting you misremember, denying the obvious, or even accusing you of the very things they are doing themselves. Or rage, using intimidation, drama, or tears, or sometimes a slick performance of remorse that evaporates the moment attention or accountability is withdrawn. Their lies are often breathtaking in both audacity and precision. They will look you in the eye and insist the sky is red, that abuse was love, that your pain is imagined, that others conspired against them, or that they were always the victim. And to maintain their story, they will invent witnesses, twist timelines, edit memories, and, if needed, enlist others, family, friends, colleagues, in elaborate triangulations that shatter your confidence in your own perception and isolate you in a hall of mirrors, where you are forced to defend not only your pain, but your sanity. The most excruciating dimension of this is that narcissists don't always know they're lying in the same way ordinary people do. Some lies are calculated strategies, deployed to avoid blame, gain advantage, or inflict confusion. But other lies are so deeply intertwined with their self-concept that in the moment, they may sincerely believe their own inventions. This phenomenon, often called confabulation, is a form of self-hypnosis, where the narcissist unconsciously warps their memory, emotions, and interpretation of events to avoid unbearable feelings of failure, insignificance, or guilt. The lie, then, is not just for manipulating others, but for preserving their own psychological equilibrium, even if it means rewriting entire histories, friendships, or tragedies. This is why attempts to catch a narcissist in their lies are usually futile. Exposed, they are more likely to double down, invent another story, or explode in anger and accusation than to admit their fabrication. Their ego is so brittle, and their sense of self so dependent on the illusion of infallibility, that confession feels like psychic death, and any threat to their truth is treated as a mortal attack, requiring immediate counterattack or stonewalling. Over time, this relentless distortion of reality devastates not only the narcissist, who retreats further into a lonely fortress made of lies and self-delusion, but especially those who orbit them. Partners spend years second-guessing every memory and defending against accusations too absurd to dignify. Children grow up in chaos, doubting their own perceptions, learning that honesty is unsafe and trust always one betrayal away. Workplaces become war zones where reality is as unstable as the narcissist's mood, and reputations are destroyed with whispered falsehoods. Entire friendships, families, and organizations are pulled into toxic, convoluted dynamics where those who challenge the narrative are scapegoated, while enablers are rewarded for compliance. The psychological toll is profound. Chronic anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, and complex PTSD are common among those subjected to prolonged narcissistic dishonesty, as the repeated experience of gaslighting and shifting realities erodes not just trust in the narcissist, but in oneself and the very nature of truth itself. The educational, brutally honest truth is that society often inadvertently feeds this cycle, rewarding charm, bravado, and storytelling over integrity, tolerating lies in leaders, celebrities, and even loved ones as mere eccentricities or strategic communication, and encouraging a culture of denial where appearance is valued over substance and image over accountability, thereby giving narcissists fertile ground not just to practice, but to thrive in their manipulation. And for those who survive this environment, the hardest part is often the internalization of the narcissist's rules. You begin to doubt your right to challenge, to remember, to insist on reality. You learn to accept apologies that never come, to suppress confrontation for the sake of peace, and to rationalize the most flagrant distortions out of habit, exhaustion, or learned helplessness. And yet, it is crucial to avoid the trap of demonizing every liar as a narcissist, or every narcissist as irredeemably malicious. Some narcissists lie not just out of malice, but from a place of terror, brokenness, or unacknowledged trauma, yet the effect is nonetheless shattering for those on the receiving end, and empathy for their wound does not require you to submit to their reality or lose yourself in their drama. The unbiased lesson, as taught by decades of clinical research and survivor testimony, is that healing and liberation begin only when you stop debating objective reality with those committed to its distortion, when you name gaslighting for what it is, when you reclaim your right to your own story, your own memories, your own boundaries, and, if necessary, step away, enforce no contact, and seek allies and therapists who can bear witness to your truth and help you untangle the web that was spun around you. The final, searing clarity is this: Narcissists lie with such ease because for them, lies are not anomalies but oxygen. They cannot bear the light of plain, unadorned truth, so they clothe themselves and everyone in their shadow with narratives engineered for survival rather than authenticity. Their dishonesty is a tragedy for all involved. It keeps them locked in perpetual exile from intimacy, connection, and growth, while leaving those around them questioning their own minds, wasting years in arguments that cannot ever be won, mourning lost innocence and possibilities that were crushed beneath the weight of endless, shifting storylines. In the end, the only thing you can truly count on with a narcissist is that the truth is always up for negotiation, that every conversation is a battleground for reality itself, and that, if you wish to reclaim your peace and future, you must refuse to play the game, because with a narcissist, the lie is not the exception, it is the rule, and freedom comes not from changing them, but from refusing, at last, to let their fiction become your life.